Public Affairs programming on WQPT is brought to you by the Singh Group at Merrill Lynch, serving the wealth management needs of clients in the region for over 25 years.
The candidates who want to be Molene's mayor, and a walk aimed to change the way we think about autism in the cities. Moline voters get to decide the future leadership of the city with a single vote on April 4th. Incumbent Mayor Scott Rays is on the ballot for the April Illinois general election. Alderman-at-large Stephanie Acree is running in a campaign to challenge him. Both candidates have experience in city government, and both want to use that knowledge to lead Moline into the future. Joining us is Alderman-at-large Stephanie Acree and Moline Mayor Scott Rays. Thank you both for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Stephanie, we always start this way. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're running?
Well, I am a business owner, and I've raised my family in Moline. I have an engineering degree from the University of Iowa, and I moved to the Quad Cities to work at Alcoa, and now I work in a machine shop.
And why did you decide to run?
Well, I've been an alderman-at-large for 6 years, and I've really enjoyed the experience. It's been really rewarding to be a part of what's happening in the community, and I've enjoyed it so much that I'd like to demonstrate some leadership and potentially be the mayor of Moline.
And Mr. Mayor, tell us a little bit about yourself for those who don't know you and why you decided to run for re-election.
Yes, Jim, I am a lifelong resident of the city of Moline, and I've served on the city council for 10 years, and then the last 4 years as mayor. Moline is on a roll right now, a lot of momentum, and I'd like to carry that into the next 4 years. I think we have a lot of opportunity ahead of us yet, and I'd like to be part of that.
Well, Mr. Mayor, let's start with that. The downtown development, I mean, Moline was one of those quiet, sleepy downtowns for quite some time, and now we're seeing virtually full occupancy in downtown living, apartments, lofts, what have you. You see the queue that's being developed right now. We're taking a look at the Chase Bank building, which could be turned into a hotel that would be very unique. What challenges are left for the downtown area?
Not so much challenges as opportunities.
Right.
So when we get the Q multimodal completed, there'll be development. I believe there'll be development that will spring up around there. We got to capitalize on that. We have the opportunity down on Western Illinois on the east end of the River Drive with a lot of land that's available for development. So we're ready to keep the ball rolling and expand. The I-74 bridge will come down in 2021 and open up several acres from the river to 7th Avenue. A lot of opportunity there. Heart of America is looking to put a hotel in the 5th Avenue building, and the Element Hotel is part of the queue, so a lot of things happening.
Is there something that Moline has learned from Davenport and Rock Island in particular, which seem to have had a downtown that emerged a little sooner?
Well, one of the things we identified in our long-term planning was how to get the Stony Creek and the Radisson people away from across the tracks into the 5th Avenue. And once we remodeled all of 5th Avenue, that really brought business owners in to do restaurants and what have you, and that's really made our downtown pop.
Well, Alderman Acree, you've seen the same thing. The downtown has really changed in, oh my gosh, for the last 5 years, but definitely in the last 10, 15 years. What type of growth do you see for the future, and what is your role as mayor to push that along?
Well, Moline has a beautiful downtown area, and I see only good things happening down there. We're going to have an opportunity with the new bridge to develop some additional space that it will be available once the new bridge goes in, and so that's exciting. What does that look like? We have a general plan, you know, good bones for it, but we need the community to be involved in what that looks like and what's going to be the best use of that property. And then going on down to where the university is, the city has a lot of property down there that we're looking to develop, and I would expect us to come forth with a request for proposals in the next few weeks in that area to see what good things can happen down there as well.
And I was going to ask you that, as the expansion of Western Illinois University is so dependent on state funding.
It is.
We all know what state funding in Illinois is like. Are you worried that that progress could be stopped, halted, or slowed down to a great extent?
Well, Well, I think that the university is going to struggle with funding from the state, but that doesn't mean that we can't take advantage of the momentum that's already going and continue to develop from the other side and do what the city needs to do to help enhance that area. And we also have a large investment going in this summer on Ben and Butterworth Parkway. It's a beautiful, beautiful park that gets a lot of use, and we would expect to have wider bike paths there so that both pedestrians and bikers can enjoy the space.
What do you say, Mr. Mayor, in regards to Western Illinois University? I mean, is that a concern? Because getting that first phase was a big deal. Getting the second phase was hallelujah. Getting the third phase would have been fantastic. And now we're kind of looking in our rearview mirror on wondering when that could actually occur.
Oh, I agree. That is a mystery because I've met with the management people at Western, and they don't see any short-term solutions in sight for the funding in Phase 3. They still are very hopeful that will emerge, however. So they're certainly not going to give up on that project.
And that's critically important. Let's continue with that area, though, is that, as you were saying, Ben Butterworth and the riverfront, as well as Western Illinois University, so much of that is dependent on state funding. I think of Western Illinois in particular. But we keep seeing cities particularly stuck between a rock and a hard place because of Illinois funding. What is Moline doing perhaps to separate itself more from the Illinois lawmakers so that you have more independence and you're not so dependent on state funding that seems to be just here, there, sometimes never there?
Well, one of the things we did, it was a very proactive meeting with Metrolink's general manager, Jeff Nelson, and I went up to Chicago and we met with Secretary Blankenhorn. The issue was the funding was already there. Governor Rauner has frozen it. So it was a matter of trying to talk them into releasing these projects. And for Moline, which is very unique, we had several state projects with John Deere Road, Western Illinois, the depot, passenger rail, and the bridge. So 5 major projects all involving Illinois funds, and we were able to convince them to release that funding. So now the bridge is a go this summer, and the queue is well underway. So the Western Illinois is still, as we just talked about, not jumping forward, but John Deere Road is under construction again. So
the major projects that you need the state help for are underway.
Correct.
But are we worried, Stephanie, that maybe we should break our ties more with the state so that that we're not dependent on them, or is that even possible to do?
Well, we're going to be subjected to mandates. We're a home rule community, and so we do have some autonomy in what we do in our community. But you know, Illinois is the environment that we're in, and that comes with the good and the bad. I think that we're very fortunate at this time in Moline's history to have all of the infrastructure projects that are going to go on happening in the next few years, and we need to really focus on the opportunity there. So we've got all of the investments coming for the bridge, the multimodal station, the rail, the John Deere Road coming in, and it's going to result in additional sales tax and hotel motel tax that we can use effectively as a springboard to the next years to come.
We're talking about new areas, but let's talk about an old area that's also getting some attention right now, and that's the 23rd Avenue corridor right now, when it comes to Avenue of the Cities, I should say, not 23rd Avenue, of course. Tell me a little bit about your hopes for that area. It was such a major shopping area in the 50s and the 60s, early 70s that seems to have declined quite a bit since then. What are you hoping to see in the corridor?
Well, I would like to see a refreshed appearance to that corridor. We have some developer investments going on right now with Dividos and also the Dolan project. And so those will be nice anchor projects, but there's a lot of investment that needs to happen in that corridor, and the city needs to play our part too, making sure the infrastructure is ready for it.
And how do you see the city doing that? I mean, there's a lot of worry about increasing any TIF districts or sometimes some of these special tax incentives. Are they really in the benefit of the taxpayer?
Well, I think that we need to continue to partner with, like on the Dolan project, the school district got involved in that. Absent of a TIF, they were able to coordinate with that developer to make that project happen. And I would see the development along that corridor be more supported by those kinds of activities where we're thinking outside the box and we're talking about different ways to accomplish our development goals without an additional TIF district.
Because let's be honest, Mr. Mayor, once Avenue of the Cities was repaved and you know, rebuilt, actually, to be honest, you knew that there was a chance that you could spring forth some new businesses along that way. Was that critically important?
Oh, absolutely. I think it has a lot to do with what we saw happen on Fifth Avenue downtown. So once you make improvements, you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
And that is an interesting corridor because we have residential there, we have a lot of small business, we have some blighted properties, so we need to try to get all those things moving forward.
Are you concerned at all with the city's use of TIF districts? I mean, it's not just Moline. I mean, community after community, people start to look at that and go, wait a second, our city's giving away too much.
Well, with our TIF districts, when I was an alderman and voted for those, I realized I wouldn't know if my vote was correct for 20 years down the road.
Right.
But as Alderman Acree mentioned, if we don't have the courage to invest, and if we don't do it, it won't happen. So are we going to be better off taking the risk that we go ahead and move a project forward, and we continue to work with the developers and the school. We don't put in any TIFs where we're going to, like for residential projects, where we're going to bring students in and the school district's not going to get additional funding to support those. So,
which is an important thing to point out about TIF districts is the limitation of tax dollars, and it really does have a big impact on school districts.
Correct, and we always sit down with them and talk to them and make sure they're on board, or if they have concerns, what are they?
One area of development, I certainly don't want to say it's blight, Mr. Mayor, is South Park Mall. I know you're very happy with the new ownership. The city was very happy because there's been investments there, but we're seeing these big box retailers suffering enormously, and you wonder about the continued health of a mall. South Park is so important. What is the role of the city beyond what the shopping center's role is? What is the role of the city to make sure that thing stays vibrant?
Well, the city continues to let Macerich know we're on board with them and supporting them and backing them. We went to the IDOT and they were asking for a right-in, right-out on John Deere Road,
Right.
and initially IDOT balked at that. We were able to lobby with them, and they finally approved that they would extend that opportunity to Macerich. Right now, Macerich has not chosen to exercise that, but those are the type of things we do in partnership with them. That TIF district for South Park is a true TIF district, whereas if they don't invest, they being Macerich, and bring new tenants in there, that TIF will not be successful because it won't generate the increments. So the burden's on them, but we're certainly there to help them. We have a company called Retail Strategies to help look for tenants to bring them in. So it is a true partnership.
Do you have concerns, Alderman Acree, in regards to the future for South Park Mall? When you take a look at Gordman's announcing that it's going to close, Dillard's announcing that it's going to restructure how it's going to operate its stores there, JCPenney's is looking to be on the chopping block, Sears is gone, but you got Dick's Sporting Goods. You know the story as well as I do. I mean, are there concerns there?
Well, I certainly am concerned, but I think that the city's role is to create an environment where those businesses know that they can be successful. So you can either subsidize the investment risk, or else you can minimize the investment risk and they'll come. Companies like Trader Joe's, they look at a couple of different things. They look at rooftops and they look at average income. What I would like to do is invest our focus in developing residential growth south of the airport. I think most Moline residents don't know that we own 300 acres free and clear south of the airport. We have infrastructure prepared, and there's been 30 years worth of footwork done to position residential growth out there, and I'd like to see us do that.
And I want to continue with that because this is property that is near the bluff area of the airport. We're talking about perhaps 300 to 400, maybe even 500 homes in that area. Moline being a victim of annexation laws in the state of Illinois, also being boxed in, as it were, by Rock Island and East Moline. This is really the only place where Moline could significantly grow residentially. So are you all in on that?
I'm all in on that. It's a beautiful area. We have the significant advantage to attract developers because we own the land outright. And so that's a huge lever to attract investment out there. And I think that it just makes sense. We have an aging housing market, or housing stock, and we have a void in certain investments in houses, certain price range of houses, that I think that we can bridge by development out there.
Well, Mayor Reyes, I mean, we've been talking about this for a long time, and what's taking so long to pull the trigger, I guess? You got to have somebody interested in developing, I'm sure, and you need a better economy than we saw like 8 years ago. But why the delay, and are you confident things are going to be sped up?
Well, you're absolutely right. That when I came on the council in '03, we acquired Case Creek, which is on the west end of that development that Alderman Acrie's talking about. We'd since added 2 other farms in there, and with the thought that that is where we want to develop households. And just recently, we've met with the county, and they have the abandoned water tower at the old Oak Glen home.
Right.
And they're willing to partner with us because the county want to see housetops out there as well. So I think we're starting to get these partnerships rolling. Milan's interested so that we could have a water source to both east and west, so Cove Valley and Milan. The county would see the benefit of getting a developer going, maybe some tax incentive, property tax incentives to, kick off one whole plot and do 10 or 20 houses all at once.
You always look at new developments with an eye also on some of the older neighborhoods that are in Moline. And you look at Florciente neighborhood where they're trying to revitalize. Terrible fear when the school was closing, but still they were able to make a community center. How important are these older neighborhoods? When I first got here 22 years ago, Moline streets were crumbling left and right. You got through the 80s, which was a tough decade. In the 90s, you were just starting to build. Do you feel like you've caught up in some ways in some of these older neighborhoods when it comes to infrastructure and perhaps the support of the communities that live there?
We're still working on it, but we have a ways to go. One of the exciting things is Deere & Company committed Global Communities to go into Florciente, and when you get a backer like John Deere behind you and they put a project manager in that neighborhood to look at streets, at sidewalks, and that whole thing, we would like to be able to use that as a model to extend across the entire city and other neighborhoods. So once we see how they put this together over a 3-year period, we hope to be able to take some things away from that.
And your campaign has been involved in cleaning up some neighborhoods. So, I mean, you're getting a closer look at some of these homes and some of these people who live in these homes. I mean, what can Moline do to better support its older neighborhoods?
Well, I think one thing that we need to correct is that we replace about 2 miles worth of roads a year, and we should be replacing about 6 miles worth of roads. And so we need to adjust our priorities in our budget to make sure that we are keeping the standard of roads that we need to have to keep our residential housing values up, as well as attractive to new businesses.
Let me ask you another question having to do with professional management of the city of Moline. You have no city administrator right now, no city manager. You are expecting a second interview after the election, April 17th, perhaps having a person on the job in May or in June. What type of person are you looking for?
I'm looking for a person that has integrity and has strong leadership skills. I think that we have so many opportunities coming in the next few years that that individual is going to need to be smart and be able to navigate both the opportunities and the challenges with our team.
How important is it that that person also is easily deals with the council that's in place?
Well, I hope that we hire a city administrator that's appropriate for the city and not just matching the personalities of council members. I think we have a strong council right now, and we're all very excited about the opportunity of bringing some fresh ideas into the community.
Well, Mayor Braze, I mean, it is coming down to the last few weeks before a decision is going to be made as far as the city manager, administrator is concerned. What are you looking for, and what do you hope not to get, I guess, in a way, too?
Well, I agree with Alderman Acrie, though, integrity and good communicator, but we also need someone that is able to work outside the boxes. And what I mean by that is the city administrator's role is also to work. We've been preaching regionalism here in the Quad Cities, so he or she needs to be able to work with the other city managers, the other mayors, county chairs, and things like that, so that we're working for the overall good of not just Moline, but the whole Quad Cities.
We're at a period of time when Moline is in pretty good shape, so I would ask you, Alderman Acrie, what sets you apart? Why do you think that you would be a better leader at this time and in this place?
Well, I'm just really excited about what's going on in Moline right now, and I think the next few years we're going to have opportunities that are going to come once, and it's critical that we all be thinking along the same lines, that we're working as a team to make sure that none of those opportunities pass us by, because they won't come back again. And so I would like the opportunity to lead that collaborative effort to make good things happen.
And Mr. Mayor, why do you think another term is good for Moline, and why do you think that it's a position you should retain?
Well, as I said, I was councilman for 10 years and mayor for 4. People know my work ethic and my background, they either like me or they don't like me. So there'll be no surprises going forward. And as I said earlier, I'd like to see this momentum carry forward.
Mayor Scott Rays, Alderwoman Stephanie Acree, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck to both of you. I want to remind you that early voting is being offered right now at the county clerk's office. The office is open from 8 in the morning until 4:30 in the afternoon. Election day, Tuesday, April 4th, with polls open from 6 in the morning until 7 at night. In a moment, a better understanding of autism. But first, here's Laura Adams with ideas for you and your family if you want to go out and about.
This is Out and About from March 19th through 26th. Hi, I'm Laura Adams. After winter, everyone's yearning for spring, so walk into the springtime heaven. That's the QCCA Flower and Garden Show, March 24th to 26th. And baseball fans will love the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library's new exhibit, Cubs vs. Cardinals, The Rivalry. The Davenport Public Library hosts a Beauty and the Beast party on March 25th at 10 a.m., and the German American Heritage Center is holding workshops of paper cutting and felt eggs on March 25th and 26th. Dust off your thinking caps for the Riverside United Methodist Church's Trivia Night in Moline, March 25th. Or Marsh Madness, Trivia Night benefiting Nahant Marsh at KSI in Davenport. The River Center Great Hall is the location of Caged Aggression, a 2-night event beginning the 25th, and the Radisson Quad City Plaza in Davenport is the site of the Old West Show, Sale, and Seminars, March 24th through 27th, while Genesius Gill presents Murder in the Cathedral at St. Paul Lutheran Church in Clinton, Iowa. Frenzy Players present Shakespeare's Coriolanus, a timely tragedy of political ambition taking place at the QC Theater Workshop. The Music Man opens at Circa 21, featuring the songs 76 Trombones and Till There Was You. And downtown Moline's Black Box Theater finishes their run of the family-friendly musical You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown on the 25th. For more information, visit wqpt.org.
Thank you, Laura. The definition of autism is straightforward. Autism, we're told, is a neurodevelopmental disorder characterized by impaired social interaction, verbal and nonverbal communication, and restricted behavior. But what does that mean? And why are there still so many questions about autism and its causes? Joining us is Gary Rowe, president of the Autism Society of the Quad Cities, which is hosting an autism walk coming up Saturday, April 1st on the Augustana College campus. Always good to see you, young man.
Always good to be here. Thank you.
You know, it's very easy to give a definition, but as you mentioned, it is a spectrum disorder. It is not just, it doesn't impact one person the same way it impacts somebody else.
Absolutely. Social interactions are a big deal for people on the spectrum. Delayed language. Certainly in children you'll notice that, and some fine motor skill issues, so occupational therapy. One real key is the earlier that you can diagnose and treat, the better. And think of, there are many adults, the numbers tell us 1 in 68, so in our Quad Cities area, Jim, it'd be about 5,900 individuals on the autism
Have
spectrum.
some form.
Some form.
So is this something, because everyone thinks, oh, it's exploded. It never existed back in the 40s and the 50s. It's just a big deal right now. Is it because it was misdiagnosed or what?
Exactly. It was never diagnosed. It's a rather recent discovery, and people were passed off as being just kind of odd. Silicon Valley is called Aspie Valley. It's full of guys, high-functioning people on the autism spectrum, what used to be Asperger's.
Sure.
NASA, full of people on the spectrum, because they can crunch data all day long to their heart's content. Just be as happy as they can be without lots of interaction.
Well, so we're better at diagnosing it, but we're still not good at finding a cause. And you know I'm going to go back to that vaccine allegation and that people shouldn't vaccinate their kids because they could get autism or forms of it. Do we really know the cause of autism?
We really don't.
Is it a gene differentiation?
It could be. There certainly is a genetic
makeup to it?
Makeup, or if not a predisposition, an inherited quality. So there is that. But the jury is really still out on what is the cause. I hope that they get to that someday.
We always talk about autism and we think of little kids. And getting through the elementary school and getting through the whole school process. And there is support systems now for children with autism. School districts are recognizing it and dealing with it more and more. But once that child graduates and gets into society, that's where you are also equally concerned, are you not? Because the employability of people who have various forms of autism?
Yeah, that's exactly right. We need to pay more attention to that. As an organization, the Autism Society of the Quad Cities is beginning to take a look at that, advocate where we can. There are some employment programs. Trinity Unity Point is one, where they take some folks, 18 to 22-year-olds, go through some job skills, some social skills training, and these are the most loyal, dedicated employees you will ever have. If you find the right slot for them and the patient supervisor who can understand where they are. I know a young man who works for AT&T, they have to tell him to go home at the end of the day.
And they show up for work on time and they stay late as possible. You have got, as we were mentioning, the Autism Awareness Month is April. The walk is April 1st, but let's talk about April 13th, the middle of the month, and you're going to be showing the PBS movie Dinosaur Train. It's all part of, Dinosaur Train is part of the walk.
Yep.
The Putnam Museum, though, is showing Swim Team. You're excited about that movie because of the message it gives.
I'm very excited. This is a group of parents in New Jersey who put together a swim team for their boys, and boys are much more prevalent on the autism spectrum than our girls. And so they had a chance to compete. Competitive sports are very difficult for kids on the autism spectrum because it is fast-paced and it's loud, and the rules, they're rule followers, and somebody who doesn't stand where they're supposed to or something like that. So this is a really inspiring documentary. 6:30 p.m. Thursday, April 13th at the Putnam in that lovely theater they have. Free. We encourage people to come out, and we are partnering with Royal Ball Run for Autism and Hand in Hand, so their constituencies as well.
So let's be honest, it's a movie that people will enjoy seeing, but also it's a great opportunity for parents and other children to network or at least come together.
Exactly, and we picked a venue. They'd be the only ones there. Sometimes just going to a theater with all the rush and the noise and all that kind of thing is difficult for a child on the spectrum. So a very user-friendly kind of environment that we chose. And kudos to the Putnam for that.
Well, Gary Rowe, thank you so much for joining us. There's so much you can learn about autism by just simply going to your website. A simple Google search is real good. I want to remind you that registration does continue for the Autism Walk. Once again, it is going to be Saturday, that is April 1st, at the PepsiCo Center on the Augustana College campus. We want to thank all of the families who came out to last weekend's Imagination Station. Here's some pictures from this year's event on the Western Illinois University campus. About 4,000 people came out to meet all their PBS friends. We also want to thank our presenting sponsors, the JCs of the Quad Cities, the Scott County Regional Authority, and John Deere. WQPT is also doing its part to support the military men and women in the cities who are serving our nation. We call it Embracing the Military. The Army wants to make sure Arsenal Island's military men and women are financially prepared for their future and their family's future. A financial readiness class is being offered next Friday and the last Friday of the month until late June. It starts at 1 in the afternoon in Building 110 on the Rock Island Arsenal. Check the Army's MWR website to learn more and to make your reservation. On the air, on the radio, on the web, and on your mobile device. Thanks for taking some time to join us as we talk about the issues on the cities.
Public Affairs programming on WQPT is brought to you by the Sing Group at Merrill Lynch, serving the wealth management needs of clients in the region for over 25 years.